Living in a consumer culture, we see a lot of warning labels. From cigarette packs to medication, we're told that the products we consume have the potential to harm us. But what if some products do harm in ways that are not obvious and don't immediately affect the consumer? Today we talked to Rob from Our Horizon. He's been running a campaign to help people understand the downstream impacts of their consumption habits. Hey, I'm here with Rob from Our Horizon, and he has a campaign to put warning sticker labels on gas pumps. And is this the solution to climate change? What do you want to achieve with this?
I think it's one of several interventions that's going to play an important role in helping us to transition away from fossil fuels towards more sustainable alternatives. What the idea is really simple, is it's a sticker, it's just a label, so it's super inexpensive. You can have some text that then communicates the impacts of fossil fuel use, highlight whatever climate impact you like, and then a website where people can learn more on how to reduce their emissions footprint.
Has there been any pushback from the fossil fuels industry?
It's funny to see how it's kind of evolved in response to our campaign. So at first, they ignored us, right? Anytime we got any media coverage, their response was no comment, right? We continue to get more and more traction in municipalities across Canada. And then they started to basically mock us. They're like, oh, this the naive group of kids, right?
Let's discredit them, these
Totally,
kids.
just dismiss us, right?
Yeah.
Then what ended up happening is we continued to get more and more traction. And then they started to argue against it. They said, well, it's not going to be effective for this reason, that reason, and so on. But it got more and more traction to the point where communities were on the verge of passing it into law, where now they have.
And it has.
Yeah, and their response has been, it's been to sort of co-opt the concept and kind of then neutralize it. So instead of something that says, generally, fossil fuels equals climate change and here's an impact, they're saying, oh, no, what you need is something positive messaging, right? And this is terrible messaging, right? You need something that says, if you inflate your tires to proper air pressure, you save on fuel and you save money.
So is the idea that when people go to these gas stations and fill up their car, that it's to highlight that this is happening right now in the present, and it's also affecting those who are not responsible for it as well?
Exactly, that's definitely a big part of it, and it depends on, so for those aspects, what you highlight on the labels. So there's a complete disconnect. There's a lack of feedback between cause and effect. So here we are burning fossil fuels today. There are effects, there are impacts that are being felt all around the globe. There's drought and famine. There's ocean acidification, how that then affects, let's say if you've been relying on fish, as something that you use part of your diet for years, and maybe waters are warming, maybe waters are becoming more acidic, and that's impacting, your food source, that kind of a thing. Maybe there's more extreme weather, so there's typhoons and whatnot. I think as long as you have this disconnect between cause and effect, it's harder to create systems change. What this idea does, by bringing those consequences, those faraway consequences, more into the present, making it more tangible, more real, you're creating feedback. And if you can create feedback, sort of from a systems perspective, if you can say, this leads to this, and that's my experience, that's your experience, that's everyone else's experience using the product, with that feedback, then it's so much easier to change.
While the solution to climate change probably doesn't lie in a warning label, initiatives like this do contribute to a larger conversation around transitioning away from fossil fuels. As universities begin to divest, the industry is losing its social license to operate, which may well be the tipping point towards a sustainable future.